In the financial history of humanity, we have never witnessed such a massive and silent asset transfer as what is happening now. If you look at the electronic boards and see gold prices continuously breaking records, don't just think it's simply due to inflation or war. Those are only surface reasons. Deep beneath, there is a geopolitical earthquake taking place where Eastern powers led by China and Russia have launched a total campaign to break free from the grip of the USD. Gold has transformed from a piece of jewelry or a safe haven asset into a nuclear weapon in this currency war. Welcome to Inner Shadow, where there will be truths that society doesn't want you to know. The rise of real gold and the paper gold trap. To understand why gold prices are rising dramatically, we need to understand a concept that major banks on Wall Street always want to hide. That is paper gold. Imagine this. You walk into a restaurant and buy a steak voucher. The restaurant promises that whenever you present the voucher, they will serve you real beef. But the problem is that restaurant only has one piece of steak in the kitchen. However, they print up to 100 vouchers and sell them to 100 different people. They believe that all 100 people will never come at once to demand their steak. This is exactly how the Western gold market with the COMEX exchange in the US and the LBMA exchange in the UK has operated for many decades. Paper gold consists of futures contracts, ETF certificates, where people trade based on numbers on computer screens without ever touching real gold bars. The problem lies in the reserve ratio. In the financial world, it is estimated that for every ounce of real gold in storage, there are dozens or even hundreds of ounces of paper gold circulating in the market. This system operates smoothly as long as everyone trusts that piece of paper. But when confidence is lost, when everyone rushes to exchange paper for real gold, that restaurant will go bankrupt. And that's what's starting to happen. The Shanghai Gold Exchange, SGE, a direct punch from China. Recognizing the looseness and even magical nature of the Western market, China made a very clever move. They established the Shanghai Gold Exchange, SGE. What is the core difference of SGE? It is 100% physical trading. In Shanghai, if you buy gold, you must pay real money and you receive real gold bars, with clear serial numbers stored in transparent vaults. China is telling the world to abandon the Western paper nonsense, come here and hold real value. By doing this, China is gradually breaking America's power to price gold. Previously, the world gold price was decided by the big players in New York and London through paper transactions, but now money is flowing to Shanghai, where the physical gold price is regularly higher than the paper gold price in the West. And this is the beginning of a massive migration, a blood draining of gold from west to east, and the arbitrage phenomenon. Why are gold reserves in the US and UK being depleted? The answer lies in a financial term called arbitrage trading. As I mentioned, the gold price in Shanghai is usually higher than in New York by $50 to $100 per ounce, and smart investors as well as central banks have seen an extremely lucrative opportunity. What do? First, they use USD to buy cheap paper gold contracts on the COMEX exchange in the US or the LBMA exchange in the UK. Second, instead of settling in cash as usual, they firmly demand settlement in real gold. Third, after receiving gold bars from Western vaults, they pack containers and ship them straight to Shanghai to sell at higher prices. This action is like a high-powered pump that has been draining gold from the underground vaults of the West and pouring it all into the East. The US and UK are falling into a dilemma. If they don't release the real gold, the credibility of the exchange will collapse immediately. But if they release gold, their reserves will inevitably be emptied. And to stop this wave of gold withdrawals, Western exchanges are starting to employ difficult tactics. They increase storage fees, increase transportation fees, require extremely complex paperwork, or only allow withdrawal of a minimum, extremely large amount of gold, for example 100 ounces or more. There is even information showing that the US is having to rent gold from India. Why rent? Simply to fill the empty vaults, so that when inspection teams or investors look, they still see glittering gold bars, But rented gold is still debt. It's just a band-aid covering a bleeding wound, and when confidence has been shaken, these technical measures will only further prove the weakness of the old financial system. The 5,000-ton gold figure and China's de-dollarization strategy. Official published figures on China's gold holdings have always been a mystery. According to reports, they hold about over 2,000 tons. But according to independent analysts based on import-export data and domestic mining output, they believe the actual figure must be up to 5,000 tons, or even much more. So why does China hide gold? In the art of war, there's a saying, all warfare is based on deception. Military tactics don't avoid deception. China doesn't want to disturb the market too early. If they immediately announce that they are accumulating thousands of tons of gold, the gold price will shoot up to uncontrollable levels, making their gold accumulation become expensive. They continue to quietly accumulate gold through state-owned commercial banks, sovereign wealth funds, and do not include it in the official foreign exchange reserve reports of the People's Bank of China, PBOC. Their ultimate goal is not to speculate for profit. Their goal is survival and overthrow. Since World War II, the USD has become the ruler of the world, thanks to the Bretton Woods system and later the petrodollar system, oil for USD. Any country wanting to trade internationally must use USD, and this allows the US an unprecedented privilege, printing money to buy goods from the entire world. And of course, China and Russia see this fatal loophole clearly. When the US froze $300 billion of Russia's foreign exchange reserves after the Ukraine conflict, the whole world suddenly woke up. It turns out USD is not your asset. It's just a privilege that the US allows you to use. If you don't obey, they will flip the switch and your assets will clearly disappear. This was the last straw, and China understands that to become a true superpower, they cannot let their economic lifeline be in the hands of their opponent. Gold is the only way out. It doesn't belong to any country, cannot be frozen by a sanction order from Washington, and it has undeniable intrinsic value. The Russia-China alliance and the New World Order, based on commodities. This war is not China alone. Russia is their key ally. If China is the factory of the world, then Russia is the gas station and resource warehouse of the world. Russia has oil, gas, diamonds, and grains. And of course, they also have a lot of gold. When Russia and China join hands, they are creating a self-sufficient economic system. They start settling oil and gas orders in yuan or rubles instead of USD. But the problem is, why would other countries accept yuan or rubles? And this is when gold comes into play. China is establishing a mechanism where countries holding yuan can directly exchange for gold at the Shanghai Gold Exchange. This is a new type of gold standard, Gold Standard 2.0. It's not like the old fixed gold price system, but it creates confidence that you can hold my currency. If you don't trust this currency, I have real gold here to exchange for you immediately. And BRICS, including Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and new members, are accounting for over 40% of the world's population and a huge GDP proportion. They are discussing a common currency backed by a basket of commodities, with gold playing a central role. If this plan succeeds, demand for USD will drop severely when countries no longer need USD to buy oil or trade with each other. What will they do with the pile of US government bonds they are holding? They will sell off, and then a financial disaster will befall America. Why will gold prices continue to rise? Many people will ask whether gold has risen so much. Will it crash? To answer this question, we need to look at the relationship between gold and currency. Actually, gold is not increasing in price, but money is losing value. This is a common misconception. In reality, gold has not increased in value at all. 1 ounce of gold from ancient times to now can still only buy a high-quality outfit or an equivalent amount of food. What changes is the purchasing power of paper money. When central banks print money recklessly to salvage debt, every dollar you hold in your hand is being diluted. Imagine you have a bowl of soup. and the government keeps pouring plain water into it, but still makes you pay the same price. Gold is the scale to measure the dilution level of that bowl of soup. Gold price rising to $2,500, $3,000, or $5,000 doesn't mean gold is more precious, but means the USD is gradually becoming waste paper. The US is burdened with a debt of over $38 trillion. Interest payments alone annually exceed the entire defense budget. They have no way to pay off debt except two ways. First is to default. This would completely destroy the global financial system. And second is to print more money to pay debt. And this is what they are doing. They keep printing money to pay debt, causing inflation to rise, and it's the people who must bear it through rising commodity prices. Gold is the enemy of public debt. The more debt, the lower the trust in currency, the higher the gold price. And with the current debt trajectory, there's no reason for gold price to stop at the current level. Inflation and the brutal truth about your money. We often hear economic experts talk about inflation, 2%, 3%, or 5%. But let's be honest, does your cost of living really only increase 5% per year? Inflation is essentially a way for governments to mobilize money and capital from people's pockets without notice. If you deposit 1 billion dong in the bank at 6% interest, but real inflation is 10%, for example, house prices, car prices, food prices increase 10%. Then after 1 year, although you see the number in your savings book increase, your actual purchasing power has lost 4%. You are getting poorer slowly without knowing it. And this is exactly why the wealthy elite and countries always hold gold. Gold doesn't generate interest, but it preserves purchasing power. We may be entering a period of prolonged high inflation. The factors that kept inflation low for the past 30 years, such as globalization with cheap goods from China, cheap energy from Russia, and political stability, may all have ended. Now the world is dividing. Countries are in an arms race rebuilding their own supply chains, which are naturally more expensive and facing expensive energy prices. All of this will push commodity prices up. In that context, paper money will continuously lose value. Gold will be the only lighthouse in the storm. Impact on currencies and the collapse of small currencies. When the war between USD and gold, represented by the Russia-China alliance, takes place, the currencies of developing countries will be the most vulnerable objects. When USD fluctuates strongly, other currencies will be swept into the vortex. If USD loses value against gold, but small countries owe too much in USD, they will fall into a double crisis. We've seen this happen in Turkey, Argentina, and recently in some Southeast Asian countries. People in these countries are losing confidence in their local currencies. They start rushing to buy gold and strong foreign currencies. This creates a death spiral. The more people buy gold, the more the local currency depreciates. The more the local currency depreciates, the more people panic and buy more gold. And to cope with the rise of gold as well as the collapse of traditional paper money, central banks are urgently deploying plans for central bank digital currency, CBDC. Don't confuse it with Bitcoin. CBDC is simply paper money, but in fully digitized form, allowing the government to control all your transactions. Many people believe CBDC will be the last effort to salvage the fiat money system. But if CBDC is also not backed by something of real value like gold, it will also just be a more sophisticated version of paper gold. So what should you do in this volatile world? This podcast is not to cause panic, but for us to look straight at the truth. The world we've known for the past 40 years, a peaceful world under the shadow of USD, is changing very rapidly. Don't just look at the numbers, look at the essence. When you see gold prices rising, don't rush to buy just because you're afraid of missing out. Buy gold because you understand it's a form of insurance for the instability of the financial system. The right question now is not whether gold can reach $3,000. The right question must be, how much longer can the current monetary system hold up? First, understand about physical assets. In a world pushing virtual numbers on screens, owning something real, like gold real estate with use value or personal skills, is extremely important. Second is international diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one currency basket. Understand the shift of capital flows from west to east. And third, financial education. This is the most powerful weapon. When you understand how the world works, you will no longer be sheep-led by superficial news. Gold has been considered money for over 5,000 years. Paper money has only existed in an unbacked form since 1971 until now. That's only over 50 years. A blink of an eye in human history. The grand experiment called paper money is coming to an end. What China and Russia are doing is not something new. They are simply bringing the world back to the basic laws of economics. What cannot be created that has value? US and UK gold reserves may be depleted. The USD may lose its monopoly position, and inflation may engulf many people's assets. But for those who understand this geopolitical game, this is not the end. It's the beginning of a new order where real value will be enthroned. The story of gold prices rising more than 50% from the beginning of the year until now is not a temporary phenomenon. It's the warning bell for an old era that has closed. We cannot change the flow of history, but we can choose to stand firm on our own feet with knowledge and thorough preparation.